Hello everyone, Hawaii Fabo here. We are now into the last week of August, and I just want to do my usual monthly update for you. So I'll start with what's going on in the quarantine tank right now. Right now I have a second Angelfish firefish. The last one in the display tank just randomly died out of nowhere. He's been eating great, showing zero signs of stress, no physical damage to him, and then over the course of 2 days he stopped eating and he went and hid in his cave, and then the next morning or 2 days after that I came in the morning and found him floating around in the tank dead. So really not too sure what happened there at all. So I kind of have a two fish rule basically. So this is the second, and this will be the final Angelfish firefish. This guy's been in quarantine tank for 2 weeks now. He's finished his copper treatment, and he's going to be in here for at least another 3 more weeks, I think, because I want to make 100% sure that this guy is going to do just fine in the quarantine tank. I mean in the display tank, sorry. I've actually had several fish in the last order come in from Blue Zoo Aquatics and not eat and die. And I've noticed that pattern throughout my orders. I've had a fish here and a fish there come in that really should be a fish that should not be hard to get eating, but and they last about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then they die because they just haven't been eating. So this will actually be the last order that I'll make through Blue Zoo Aquatics with regards to fish at this point. I also ordered 3 blue-green chromis fish. 2 of them also died as well. I have 1 left. He's doing fine. And as I look through the course of the history, I also had the Bengai cardinals. 2 of them die. I also had a cherub angelfish die as well. So it's not really financially viable, and I don't think I'll be ordering fish from online unless it's from Diver's Den, because of the process that they go through. So I think definitely it's been interesting using the online experience for ordering fish, but I won't be doing it again. I think the best thing you can do is go down to your local fish store. You might pay a little bit more at your local fish store than you would online, but you know, at least you can see the actual specimens that you'll be ordering, and you'll be able to see them eating. And that's just one thing you cannot do when you order online. So that's what I'm going to be doing from here on in. Going over to the display tank, a lot of changes, and I'm glad to say we've got a couple new fish in there. New corals as well. I do have a problem with my zoanthids, which really sucks, so I'm just going to start off by quickly showing you this beautiful bubble tip anemone. This came from Blue Zoo Aquatics. This guy is about 4 inches. Blue Zoo Aquatics, when I ordered the anemone, this guy was marked at the 1.5 to 2 inch size range, so this guy is huge. And if you compare him to the other bubble tip anemone that I have here, there's just no comparison. So this guy's been a real slow grower since he had his accident, but he is recovering for sure. But I wanted something that I could maybe try and tempt the clownfish into hosting, as a side from the overflow box, which they seem to be really enjoying. I also have to apologize for the water at the moment. I fed them and then I did a 15-20% water change, so it is a little bit scattered right now, but while I have time to do this, I'm doing it. Here is the blue-green chromis that is the last survivor of 3, and he's been a model citizen, no issues with him whatsoever. The Haitian anemone is just huge now. He's absolutely massive. He's not even at his full, I guess you could say, extension at this point, but he's really big. I've had a bit of a problem with my zoanthids, especially the green ones. I've noticed that the numbers of polyps have started to decline. and I thought maybe that was because they're in the shade, so I've brought them out here. This is the brain coral. Unfortunately, the what's his name? The yellow watchman goby and the pistol shrimp basically buried him in sand, and I didn't really think there would be too much of an issue there until I blew the sand away and I saw where there used to be tissue, there was just skeleton. So I've pulled him up out from the sand and he started growing back very slowly. There is a bit of a bleaching effect going on there. I think that's because the lights were too strong. And since I've dialed down the lights from 85 to 80%, I have seen a better response in the coral's behavior overall, so really happy about that. These zoas were moved from over here just to get out into the sun a little bit more, and they're doing okay. They're not doing great. I think I have my suspects though as to why they might not be doing so great, but we'll come back to those in a minute. I picked up a little starfish. This guy I acclimated for about 2.5 to 3 hours because they are very, very sensitive to any changes in water parameters whatsoever. So I had him acclimated, and he's doing really well too. He's been all over the tank, so hopefully he's gonna be okay in this tank. I don't really have anything else to show you guys so far as corals go, and well, actually no, I do have an update on the fish front, and I'm going to try and see if I can find him for you because he's big enough. Ah, there he is. So there he is. There's my bicolor angelfish, and he and the cherub angelfish get on very well. There's no aggression issues. The cherub angel was in here first, and the bicolor angel, after going through quarantine for 4 weeks and a copper treatment, he came into the display tank and had absolutely no issues. I do suspect though that the bicolor angel is the reason behind the zoanthid polyps. I seem to be losing a couple of them, but we'll see. I'm keeping a close eye on it. It's probably not the best idea for me to have these zoanthids laying out right in front of his little house here, but as I said, I'm going to keep an eye on it, see how it goes. But he's a great addition to the tank. I do have a backup plan, and that is if for some reason it's not going to work out with him and the corals, then I'm going to just take him to my LFS and trade him for a juvenile yellow tang. And some of you might be thinking, well, 65 gallon probably isn't the best sized tank for a yellow tang. I have a few things to say to that. One is he's a juvenile. I've seen the yellow tangs that they have in the fish store right now, and they have to be the smallest yellow tangs I have ever seen in my life. They are just fractionally bigger than the dwarf, than the cherub angelfish that I have right now, just fractionally. Second thing is, this tank is very open. There is a lot of swimming space. I've purposely done that so that I could have more fish in this tank, and larger fish that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to keep in a 65 gallon tank without stressing them out. And obviously I'm not going to go crazy with big fish. The bicolor angelfish is the last and the largest fish that will be in this tank, aside from the Helfrichi firefish. But if for some reason the bicolor angelfish doesn't work out, as I said, I'm going to bring in that yellow tang. And thirdly, if you step back and you look at my setup, and those of you who have been following me throughout this tank setup and build, you will know that upgrading to a 5-foot tank is not going to be that difficult. I already have the filtration for it. I already have the water circulation pumps, the MP40s for that. I already have a couple radions. My system that I have is actually quite capable of supporting a tank 200 gallons plus. So I do have a monster filtration tank set up on this tank for such a small 65 gallon tank, and I've done that on purpose with the eye of upgrading in the not too distant future. And in fact, I'm going to show you guys a little sneak peek here. I have already started purchasing, you can't see, I've already started purchasing components for the upgrade, and that is a second sea swell unit. So for a 5-foot tank, I'm going to put 2 sea swells on it, and that's going to give us a really nice amount of flow in that tank. So I'm going to be upgrading the Radions to the Radion Gen 3 lenses, and I'll be purchasing an additional 3rd Generation 3 Radion, and that's basically all I'm going to need to do. Aside from some extra rock and some extra sand, I'm not going to need to do anything else. Now, what is holding me back at this point in the upgrade is that me and my wife, we are currently looking to buy a house, and depending on the house that we get and where the tank will go, i.e. filtration in the basement or peninsula tank or something like that, that's going to depend on what I do going forward. So while we are in this apartment, I'm not going to be upgrading the tank, but we are looking to buy a house right now, so you know, a juvenile yellow tang in here is not going to be the worst thing in the world. And as I said, I've already started purchasing, and I'm already well into planning an upgrade for a 5-foot tank, or possibly even a 6-foot tank. It would just mean new tank stand and maybe a canopy, maybe not a canopy, we'll see. But I'm not going to lose sleep over putting a juvenile yellow tang in here, based off of my plans. So that's about it, guys. Questions, comments, always appreciated. I think going forward, so far as additions to the tank, as I said, I'm done with fish. I'm still playing around with the Radions, so I'm still not ready to commit to any expensive corals or anything like that. However, I do think I will dabble with a couple much smaller test SPS pieces now, now that all the other corals are starting to react really well to the light settings that I have set up. But that'll be something maybe for next month or the month after that, because at this point now I don't really think I have too much more to update you guys on moving forward. Alright, well that's it, guys. Again, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next month, or who knows, month after that maybe. Thanks, bye.